Welcome to The Hidden Gem, your go-to podcast that shines a spotlight on the strategic role of marketing and communications in shaping the future of community colleges. I'm your host, Maya Demishkevich, CMO at Carroll Community College. Every week, I sit down with community college leaders and industry experts to unpack strategies that work. We'll discuss practical insights and success stories to help you elevate your institution's profile and achieve your strategic goals. Tune in to amplify your community college's success, one conversation at a time. The Hidden Gem is part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher education professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org or check out some of my personal favorites linked in the show notes below. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered all-in-one student engagement platform helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com. And let's get started. And this is the Hidden Gem podcast. I'm your host, Maya Demishkevich, and we are doing this live at AMA. And today I'm excited to talk about a very interesting topic, how advancement campaigns can raise college's brand awareness and reputation. And I'm here talking to Caitlin Currey. She's the partner and VP of strategy at ID5. Hi, Caitlin. How's the conference going?
It's going great. Lots of energy, lots of good talks, lots of vendors here. So it's fun to see familiar faces and a lot of new ones too.
So let's jump right in. So my first question for you is, why do you think many colleges overlook the opportunity to use advancement campaigns as a tool for brand awareness? And what are some of the common barriers they face in this area?
Well, the setup, typically, like the infrastructure at colleges and universities varies widely. So sometimes advancement and marketing are on the same team. Sometimes they're working in complete silos. I think the struggle mostly comes when they are working in silos. And they've got really, really different audiences. So, of course, the marketing team is always worried about and focused on things like enrollment, attracting the right students, hitting the right numbers. And then the advancement team needs to really focus on donors and alumni. And the challenge is that while it seems like those two different audiences have really different needs, and they do in many cases, in a lot of cases, they have the same needs. They are brought together because of a unique need for storytelling. They want to understand, what is the university about or the college about? What do they stand for? What's different and how it could align with what they need? And so we can connect the dots there through storytelling typically. But I think that often, because they operate in different silos with those different audiences, they don't think through the idea that both audiences care about stories. They care about what's in it for me, what's the university about, and how does that align with what I need and who I am.
I think you brought up, this is like a very important topic, and I think not only those campaigns can run simultaneously and kind of help each other out, but you can also find efficiency in resources, right? So you don't have to create multiple stories. You can probably create the same story, but say it in a slightly different way, depending on who the target audience is. So I love this idea because community colleges and open access institutions are often under-resourced, I would say. So finding efficiencies where we can, I think, is key. So what do you think are some of the strategies that the colleges can implement to integrate brand awareness goals into their advancement campaign? How can they find this harmony together?
Yeah, resources and efficiency and finding efficiencies are important, whether you're a gigantic institution or you're a little community college that is working so hard to serve the community and students. I think one of the first things is coming together as a team. So the first step that I like to take if I'm working with a client on an advancement campaign, and we've done a lot of that work, is to meet with the marketing team. And most of the time, they're friends. They get along really well. They're all working for the same university or community college. But sometimes there's a little bit of tension there. So I want to get rid of that. So immediately, let's come together as a team. I want to know what work has been done on the core brand of the University of Community College. What research has been done? Have we had focus groups? What do we know about our students? What do we know about our graduates and how they're contributing or staying engaged with the institution? I want to know about the recruitment goals. What drum are you beating? What are the core messages that you're using to attract new students? And then I want to find out, how does that match or marry with what we know about what our donors want? So for instance, we might be saying, especially as an open access institution, we might be saying in marketing and recruitment and enrollment that it's you can do this. Let's address your barriers, things like affordability. Can I get in? Will I fit in? Can I succeed here? Do you have a program that can get me more quickly to a career so that I can start providing for my family or becoming who I want to become? Well, that message that we're beating the drum on for our prospective students is really attractive to donors too. Donors want to know they're making an impact, and not just huge impact, but they like those stories about the student who overcame those barriers, who stepped outside of their comfort zone and made a new life for themselves and their families. And donors want to know what they've made possible, and they want to know that the institution is delivering on the impact that they're hoping for. And so, to your point, it's about telling those stories. I tell my team, my creatives and writers and designers all the time, as well as my clients, it's singing the same song in a different tune. So how do you tell that story of that student to prospective students who want to say, do you have people like me? And then use that exact same story to talk to donors that say, look at the kinds of students that we are helping make a better life for themselves, who are changing their lives and the trajectory of their futures and future generations of their families. You can help with that. So that exact same story can be beneficial both from a recruitment standpoint, but also from a donor engagement standpoint, and things like newsletters and website stories and alumni magazines, as well as lookbooks and view books and stories that might appear on an admissions page.
I'm so glad I ran into you at this conference, because I'm listening to you and I already have a lot of ideas on how I could potentially implement this. We do have a fundraising campaign going on right now that will go public very soon. And we also have a marketing campaign that we are launching at the same time. And we are working on creating stories. So now the next story we're going to be creating will think about not only prospective students, but donors as well. So thank you for your insights. It's very helpful for me personally. Can you share maybe any specific examples of a college that successfully was able to raise their brand awareness thanks to the fundraising campaign at the college?
Yeah, so it sounds like you're in a really busy time where you are right now, in a stressful time, but I'm sure rewarding. Yeah, so actually it's a 4-year institution in Northern Virginia, comes to mind immediately. Their name is George Mason University, and they're a wonderful institution that we like to say, and they like to say, admits like an open access institution and graduates like an elite university. And I think that mission is so important. And there's a lot of competition in Northern Virginia. There is an amazing industry. It's right outside of DC. Fulfilling the workforce pipeline is a huge and important thing for business owners and large corporations that exist, which is where a lot of donors are. Anyways, we just launched with them, in partnership with them, $1 billion campaign. And early on, before we launched the campaign in the discovery phases, again, I met immediately with the marketing and communications team. And their chief marketing officer had just launched with actually another agency a new brand identity. And their tagline is altogether different. And I loved that. I loved the work that the other agency did. Agencies can play nicely together, by the way. That's a misnomer that we don't. And so I said, I'd love to see the data. I'd love to see how you came to that tagline for the main university brand. And so in looking through the data, I was reading all of these student stories, why they chose George Mason, what was the differentiator, what made them feel like it was George Mason University over all of these other wonderful universities that existed within, a 30-mile radius. The answer was really simple. It was, I felt, speaking from a student's perspective, they felt like the institution had their back. Like they could become what they wanted to. Like, they could be who they authentically were on a diverse campus, and they wouldn't go into incredible amounts of debt getting there. The university made something possible that they didn't think was. And I thought, well, what a beautiful sentiment. And knowing after doing a bunch of my own research with the team on advancement that donors really, really cared about that. And so in thinking of our new campaign name and tagline, we wanted to incorporate a strategy pulled directly from some of those student stories from the main brand. And our new tagline for Mason Now, which is the $1 billion campaign, was Power the Possible. And so it incorporated values and attributes from the main campaign for the university, the recruitment campaign and identity, and brought it into our $1 billion advancement campaign. And it really resonated in our focus groups with prospective donors and also with alumni who have so much pride in the institution for what the institution made possible. That word possible became the through line. And so I feel confident that any of the messages that a prospective student might see about the university marries in strategy with whatever messages they might see in the world about our advancement campaign, about Mason Now. It feels like we're all beating the drum louder together because it feels like those messages are harmonious, not cannibalizing each other and not competing, but working together to tell the story of Mason.
I love this example. I think you did a great job demonstrating how the brand campaign and the fundraising campaign can work together to elevate each other up and create a broader impact for the institution. So I appreciate you taking the time to share your insights and to share your experience. And I hope those who are listening to us found this valuable and maybe gained some insights just like I did. So thanks again.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it valuable. Let's keep this conversation going on LinkedIn at Maya Demishkevich. I would love to hear your thoughts, questions, and suggestions for what you would like to see next on this podcast. Remember, by tuning in to The Hidden Gem, you are not just listening to a podcast. You are joining a movement of amplifying community colleges' success. Don't miss out. Subscribe to this podcast and notifications about our future episodes. Share it with your colleagues and college leaders to help make our colleges stand out. Together, let's make an impact. The Hidden Gem is part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you will like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month. And we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher education technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our shows help higher ed marketers and admissions professionals find their next big idea and feature selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Jamie Hunt, Jenny Fowler, Eddie Francis, Brian Gross, and so many other of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered all-in-one student engagement platform helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.